Today we are talking about previewing a text. And so before we actually read the book, we just want to take a quick look at it to see what we're going to learn. That's the whole idea of previewing. So I have chosen a book today to represent how you're going to do your assignment. It's called The American Revolution by the Numbers. It's written by Amanda Lancer. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to preview this text. I've actually already done it and typed in my answers, and I just want to show you so that way you know what to do. But you're going to do a different text today on the American Revolution. So the first thing is what I learned from the table of contents. When I click in here, I actually don't find the table of contents. Table of contents is found over here in other pages. When I click on other pages, these give me more options for different pages to click on. There's table of contents. So I click on that. I can click this button to make that go away. And now I can see the table of contents better. We can even zoom in so we can see those words bigger. So as we read through this table of contents, one thing I noticed is that it talks about setting the stage for war. And then goes into the Loyalists and Patriots, which I know were like the two different sides. And then we've got the battles of Lexington and Concord. And just continued through, there's some more battles. So over here, I'm going to show you. I wrote down that I think this book will have a chronological order of events during the American Revolution. I will learn about different battles that took place. The reason I chose chronological was because we're setting the stage, we're choosing sides, all of these battles are taking place, and then it ends with the Yorktown Campaign and the Treaty of Paris. Usually whenever there's a treaty signed, that means there's some sort of peace or agreement made. So I'm just predicting that that's probably what's going to take place. To get back into the text after we're done previewing the table of contents, you're just going to come up here and click Return. That brings you right back here to your main book and all the main pages. So the next thing on our table is here are two headings I found in my text. Basically, we just want you flipping through the pages of the books, taking a look at the headings, and getting an idea of what you're going to be learning about. So setting the stage for war. Again, this book is about numbers. So there's going to be a lot of numbers in here. And I think it's just an interesting and new way to think and learn about some of the facts that took place during the American Revolution. I can see the headings are right up here. They're big and bold. Continental forces. I mean, we've got a lot in here. British forces. I'm going to go ahead and just show you the two that I wrote down. Setting the stage for war and the British forces. There's a lot. I don't expect you to write down all of the headings. I just need two. We just need to see that you're previewing the text and taking a look at those different topics to see what you're going to be learning about. The next thing that we're going to do is finding 3 different graphic text features and thinking about what we can learn from them. So this is where you're going to do a little preview into that. I know my book is all about numbers in the American Revolutionary War. So I'm going to be taking a peek at some of those. I wanted to show you my first one that I took a look at was a diagram, which is actually on this page right here. This diagram shows 400 circles, and those circles represent the Americans that were in the angry crowd during the Boston Massacre. These blue dots represent the 5 of the 400 that actually were killed by the British soldiers. There was a lot of Americans that were there. Over here in the red, we see that there were only 8 British soldiers who were involved in the Boston Massacre. 0 of them were killed. So what I've learned from this is that the angry Americans greatly outnumbered the British soldiers during the Boston Massacre. 400 versus 8. That's pretty crazy. When I see it this way, it just helps me to picture it in my mind and get a visual. And when I think about actually being there, it just deepens my understanding of that time. My next one that I found were bold numbers, which there's a lot of bold numbers in here, but I chose this page right here because this talks about the Loyalists. Now, the Loyalists were the people who were colonists. They lived in America, but they still wanted to be a part of King George and under his rule. 19,000 of them served in the British Army. But this one right here, the 100,000, these were the 100,000 loyalists who left the country after the American Revolution ended. Had never heard that before, so that was new learning for me. The last thing that I found was this pie chart. This pie chart represents all of the colonists, all of those people that lived during the American Revolution in America, on American land. 50% of them were patriots, 20% were loyalists, and 30% were neutral. Neutral meaning they couldn't decide which side they belonged on, so they couldn't choose. I just think that's a good representation and a way to picture like how many people were actually patriots and how many were loyalists and how many couldn't decide. So I wrote that down over here as well. That's all you have to do, except you're going to be doing it with a different text. So the point of previewing the text is to help me understand what I'm going to be learning as I read this book. And honestly, I'm excited to continue reading this book and seeing what other things I learn about the American Revolution. I hope you enjoy it too.